Let's go. What's up, Ron? We got a podcast in the metaverse, bro.
Yeah. Who knew that this is what it was all building up to through the entire first season? And now we are here kicking off season 2 with all of you guys, a live studio audience.
Let's go. Every Tuesday.
A podcast. We didn't even know what was happening. We were 15 episodes into this.
It seems to be helping and impacting a lot of people. We'll see you every Tuesday on the Well Metaverse podcast. Peace.
Easy. I don't know why I chuck deuces. Like I don't chuck deuces. What was that? Hello, everybody from Well Metaverse. I'm Aaron Sorrels, and this is not Jason Earls.
No? Are you surprised? Wait a minute.
Brian Curry, a.k.a. Mr. Killer B. Welcome to the show as a co-host. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I was thinking about throwing confetti, but I didn't really have anything to throw. So, plus I have to clean it up. You know, I don't want to do that.
Right? Yeah, that's one of the many advantages of the metaverse. Like, you don't have to clean up that confetti.
That's right. No, I'm glad to be here, man. Glad to be here. Hey, Kimberly.
Hey, Kimberly says hello. Excited for another amazing live stream. Yeah, us too. Oh, look at this. We can do the guess the name if you want. Guess the avatar name.
Oh.
I'm gonna guess Ace the Base.
Ace the Base. That's what I was gonna say. Ace the Base. All right. Yeah.
Let's
awesome.
go. Killer B in the house.
What's up, man? Good to see you, man.
All right, and Lolly's backstage doing here. We're gonna bring Lolly out to say a quick hello to everybody because everybody loves Lolly. Lolly. Yeah.
Here we are. Another beautiful Tuesday. Welcome, Killer B. So excited to have you here today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you. And Aaron's back from vacation. So, man, how did that go? You're taking your vacation. Now, I saw a lot of people saying, Aaron, why are you messaging us? You're supposed to be on vacation.
Well, so that's interesting that you say that because early in the mornings out there, I had a little bit of time that I could kind of read through some messages and have it pretty low impact. Exterminator says, welcome back, Aaron in the saddle. By the way, I like to switch words around as I see fit. Also, did you guys get up to any mischief? Also, hey, Killer B. Exterminator here. Yeah, so it was a great trip, man. And Lolly, it was a wonderful time to hang out with Renee and just totally unplug for a bit. Hey, all right, Cal Harms in the house. Good to see you, Trainer Cal. Also, Zach the artist is in the house. He says, "Hey-o, Mr.
Zach
B."
Man, what's up, Zach? How you doing, man? It's good seeing you.
Yeah. And Miss Alma Jean, she says, well, I'm going to guess her name is Alma Jean.
Unless I'm really
yeah. So funny story. Everybody that knows Alma and Connie, they're twins. And we had the opportunity to get several of us together in real person. And our friend Corporal Matheson was there. And somebody said, oh, here comes Alma. And Connie K was there and had been talking for like a half hour. And Corporal says, wait a minute, this isn't Alma? And it threw him for a loop.
Oh, well, that's hilarious. Well, Alma, did you know I'm a twin too? I'm identical.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So he's not on Oculus though. He's not on Horizon. So
wow, that's cool. So there's two of you running around.
Two of me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry about that.
Hey, Matthew Drake says first time here. Glad to hopefully be a part of the Soapstone team soon, dude. So I ran into Matthew Drake in the Soapstone this morning, and we had a nice chat. He recently found the Soapstone and became a supporter, and yeah, he's rip raring ready to go and
nice.
Join the team, which is kind of that's kind of a little bit of what I wanted to kind of talk about and share today was this thing that really kind of it's been stirring for a couple months now. Me and the lead team have been talking. By the way, Lolly, you're welcome to chime in any point here too, because you've been part of this whole journey of this thing kind of taking shape. But and it hasn't even really taken shape yet. But one of the things that I really want to do is have us as a lead team try to make things easier for people to get involved. So it's cool to see Matthew Drake here as somebody who's about to get involved, because it's intentionally a complex process, but I think we can maintain some of that while making it really easy, while making it super obvious that this is the first, second, third, and fourth thing that I do. Super obvious and easy for people. But I mean, the fact that it takes a long time to go through the training and get involved, that's a really good thing. That's led to, our team, which is a phenomenal team. So,
yeah, I mean, go ahead,
Brian.
Like I said, that's important, man. I mean, good training sets you up for success too. It really does. We want to get there fast, but we get there too soon and we're not prepared. So that's good.
Well, before I go, because I'm going to go backstage, but I did want to say the great thing about our team, we are so lucky. We have the kindest, sweetest, most giving people, I think, in the metaverse on the Soapstone team. They are all so willing to give a lot of their time to help other people, to, let me show you, let me help you. And they're just all willing to move and bend with everything. Aaron knows that I'm more of a framework person. So I'm always trying to hold everybody to a frame, but it works well because he's absolutely helped me relax, and it's just coming together so perfectly. So the fact that we're making it easier, Aaron, as we're growing and changing, is just that much better. It's just that much more fun. So anyway,
Lolly, before you go back though, I do want to say that the dynamics of the team are awesome, because we are not all exactly the same. And I know you and I have talked a lot about how, like my tendency is to put people in place and see what happens, and I know your tendency is let's get the plan in place and see if we can follow it, and it's not that one is right, one is wrong. It takes both of these perspectives to keep a well-balanced team and have good systems in place. People have to have the creativity and the room for creativity and the flexibility that they can engineer and figure out the right thing to do. But they also have to have the guidance to say, hey, here's the direction to be going. So I appreciate you so much, my friend, and I'm glad you're a part of this team.
We do have fun. It's a lot of fun, and then to be able to be honest and open with a group of people the way we do, it's amazing. It's just wonderful. So thank you, Aaron. We appreciate having you in the position you're in. It's been good for all of us.
All right. And on your way out, Oculos says, Lolly, you were supposed to wear green this weekend.
I know, Oculus. They never give me the memos. They never give it to me.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. Zach chimes in. We're going through many iterations of procedures, and each one gets more efficient and effective. Love the work this team puts in. Super inspiring. Yeah. Thanks, Zach. It's always crazy to think about change, but that's the thing that hasn't changed throughout the Soapstone, is we're always changing.
They're always changing.
Man, that's a riddle.
It's an important process, man. It really is. Like, we should always be striving to become better. And we learn from, and you guys have been doing, how long have you guys been doing the Soapstone now, Aaron?
So since December of not last year, but the year before, whatever year that was, 2020.
So over 2 years.
Yeah.
So you've learned a lot.
Not over 2 years. About a year, coming up on a year and a half.
About a year and a half. So, I mean, there's a lot to learn and adjust. I mean, you should be adjusting all the time, right? To make things better.
Yeah, especially since our environment, the platform itself is constantly improving and constantly laying out new tools that are available and things like that. So yeah, it's like change. The people that are involved in any aspect of the metaverse better be pretty comfortable with change, because there's a lot of it.
I had to learn that after a while. It was pretty difficult because, running a business. When I get in there, I'm like, I want things to run totally smooth and make sure it's well oiled. But then there's just things you have to realize. Some things are just out of your control, and you need to be able to adjust and go with it. So,
well, and to tell you the truth, some of the things that are out of our control, some of the challenges that have come up, have actually contributed to how strong our team is. You know, our team are problem-solving monsters. And when it comes to showtime, like they are in problem-solving mode. So whatever comes up, we're ready for it, you know?
So like, what's like one, like what would be one that you just kind of comes off top of your thoughts? Like the biggest adjustment you guys had to make at one time?
So, I mean, one thing that immediately comes to mind is like the tools, because, you know, events have tools that are available for moderating and stuff like that. And it's not a totally unusual situation to come in and not have access to those tools. But, you know, like our team's got plan B, C, and D all lined up and in the chamber, you know, it's good to go. Film Sensei, Sensei Jay says we've gone through a lot of names also. Yeah. As everything started as Clean Comedy Land, and then we had a short-lived but very appreciated partnership with a comedy club called Gutties. And then we changed the name to UA's Comedy Club when that relationship ended. Which was just a placeholder. And then the community came up with the name, the Soapstone. And that is, I mean, it's such a great name.
Yeah, I love the name Soapstone, you know, keep it clean. It's just, I mean, there's clean comedy. It's just, there's so much wrapped into that name. So good job, team. I mean, that's a very impressive name. So
absolutely. And speaking of names, Sturminator points out that Sensei Jay or Film Sensei, or Jay, he also goes by Scurvy Jay. That's one of his names. He's put out some really cool content under the guise of Scurvy Jay, where he's a pirate and he uses that to communicate some good stuff.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to see that. I'm gonna have to check out Scurvy Jay.
Yeah. Speaking of different names, you're of course Brian. You're of course Mr. Killer B, and you're the head of Killer B marketing, right?
Yeah. And Mr. Killer B was basically a transition from Killer B to Mr. because Mrs. Killer B came into the scene of Horizons, and I told her, I was like, the only thing that makes sense is if I do Mr. If you're Mrs. But I made her sign a 6-month contract because I was like, I can't change my name for 6 months.
You can't be changing things back and forth. Yeah. That's a lot of commitment when you start coordinating metaverse names.
Exactly. Some people thought like, oh, I guess you want to be more sophisticated. You want to be recognized as Mr. I was like, no, it really has nothing to do with it.
You're like, I want less sophisticated.
That's right. Man. Well, I've been super excited to be a part of Soapstone already. What you guys are doing and the marketing side. I know you got a lot of vision. Like you were sitting and relaxing in Hawaii, taking in all the sunshine, while everybody was working their tails off, and you've got vision about things coming, things in the future. So what did the sun do to you? Like what did all that?
Well, one thing that did to me is I think I got about 30 years older while I was in Hawaii. And you'd think it would be gradual, but really the first day we got there, I think I just aged 30 years because we get there and we get kind of settled in and rested and went to bed. And then in the middle of the night, I wake up because outside our lanai and patio door is the big pool area. And there's middle of the night, there's kids out there just hooting and hollering and screaming and like having the time of their life, which of course I needed to put a stop to immediately.
Oh yeah, that's great, Grandpa, right?
right. Get off of my lawn. And fortunately, though, as I'm floating across the room to give them the what for, I happen to catch a look at the clock, and it said 9:30 p.m.
Oh man, I would love to know, like in the comments, like how many of you have been in this moment now and finding out that maybe you're older than what you realize these days, saying things that maybe your dad or your mom used to say all the time. I don't know.
Yeah. Throughout the course of time out there too, you're supposed to kind of acclimate to the time change because it's 6 hours difference,
Wow.
and you're kind of supposed to acclimate to that. But like we started going to bed earlier and earlier and waking up earlier and earlier. I mean, we were looking for early bird specials for dinner. Like at one night we got reservations after 5 p.m. and Renee was like, I don't know how we're going to do it.
Don't bring me any tea or coffee right now because I won't be going to bed all night long.
I can't have it. Can't be 6:30 and me having trouble going to sleep.
That's right. That's right. I get it, man. It catches up. That age catches up with you. But I'm sure everybody on your team, really was excited that you got to take a break because it's needed, especially as the leader of what's going on. Like you need that time to unplug, rest, and just reflect and just take things in.
It really was nice. And we were able to go for 2 weeks, which I think it's important to have that kind of time frame to truly unplug, because the first 7 days we were busy vacationing. We were trying to go from one thing to another. We were yelling at kids in the middle of the night, 9:30 p.m. We were doing vacation. We were busy with vacation. But then the second 7 days, we really kind of came to a stop. We still were doing stuff, but it was only like one thing a day or one thing every couple days. And we just took time to pause and rest. And it was so valuable, to just not be doing all the time and take some time to just experience and feel and think. Like you talked about, like the vision of the soapstone, like it started crystal clear with 3 things that we do. We empower leaders, we encourage people towards the spotlight, and of course we really focus on sharing what we're learning to build up the whole community, not just try to hoard knowledge or whatever. But really share what we're learning. Thank you, Lolly, for pulling that up. Our vision, the things that we've tried to achieve has always been to empower leaders, encourage people towards the spotlight, and then share what we're learning. And that's been awesome. But kind of starting with the dry bar opportunity that we had, that opened up a couple more pieces of vision, a couple more things that we wanted to accomplish. Thanks, Lolly. Which I really feel like it's the role of the Soapstone to try to help create paid opportunities for the people on Team Soapstone. And that can include hiring a marketing firm, and that can include, the different roles that through the Dry Bar series we were able to pay people for. That can involve some of the stuff that we're going to be able to do as far as like some video production things and some, some of our lead folks that put in the work, put in the hours, to be able to compensate them a little bit. It's good. And I do foresee some really cool opportunities coming up later in the year to hit that vision of being able to help create some paid opportunities. And then along with that, and actually this right here, it's so appropriate to have you on right now, because the idea of brightening the spotlight, that's really what I've been able to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, can you help me do this? So I got to just turn it over to you for a minute and say, how are we going to do it? How are we going to brighten the spotlight for people in the Soapstone?
Wow, man, that's a pretty good question to ask. I think, you guys are already on the right track because it comes down to the connection with people, right? First off, it's getting them towards the spotlight. There's a lot of people that, come to Soapstone or even come to Horizons period that have been hurt. They don't feel like they're good enough. They don't have any value to bring. And you guys do an amazing job at encouraging those people, building them up, and then pointing them towards that spotlight. That's a huge piece. And the more that you continue to build that relationship and that connection, that spotlight will start getting bigger for them as well, because they're going to tell more people about the Soapstone as well. I don't know. You've been on vacation, so I don't know if you've even paid attention to your social media, like on your Facebook page. Hopefully, I don't know. We haven't even talked, but hopefully you're like, man, we're getting a lot of comments on there. Well, that's not done by accident. That's all purpose of, getting that connection, that engagement with your followers. Because when we go over your report, which we'll go over this week, you're going to see like your viral views, how many people are seeing all that is growing. Like, I mean, they're not below 100 extra viral views. You're up to like 400, 500 views from people that are friends of all of you guys. Everybody that's commenting and taking part in that, that's also spreading, making that spotlight bigger and brighter for those that don't know Soapstone or don't know the community that's available at Soapstone. But how we do it in Horizons is going to be fun. That's going to be, I think I'm up for a challenge. I mean, you even see with us, we know the challenges that we have with events. And I would always complain about it. I'm like, man, I can't, like, I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of people on here that are used to setting up events. And I was telling some guys the other night that I was meeting, I was like, man, if I sit there and I try to send out invites to people on an event, I'll easily spend 45 minutes, an hour just trying to scroll through the names, and it keeps resetting. I was like, because of the bugs, they're working out. This is growing pains. Like, this is the part of being on beta. But instead of complaining, I thought, what can I do? What can I do? I was like, well, as a marketing team, some of those things is, well, if we need to get people to the events, then we need to invest in text messaging services and put that all over the studio. So we make sure people are signed up so we can stay in contact and let them know, come join us in 2 hours or 1 hour. Staying connected. I think connection and building that relationship is going to be the biggest piece to building a brighter spotlight. Because it's one thing to let somebody on your stage and say, hey, that was great. But it's another thing to let them on the stage and then stay connected with them.
Yeah.
Stay encouraging them.
Yeah. And that's really been the secret sauce of the Soapstone already, is the fact that people connect with each other. And there's true and genuine community that comes from people stepping outside of their comfort zone and having a group of people around to support and encourage them. Like that's so cool. But the spotlight, like, as I'm thinking about brightening the spotlight, exactly what you and by the way, Olivia is crushing it. Like, there were more than one days in Hawaii when I popped open my social media and saw me dressed up like Woody from Toy Story, or saw me with the headset on, and like, I'm loving what you guys are pulling together and putting out there. It's relatable, accessible, and entertaining. So it's
thank you.
It's so cool, yeah. And I'm sure Olivia will be on the call Thursday, and I'm looking forward to giving her some kudos and some flowers, because she's doing some cool. I mean, and your whole team's doing just some really, really cool stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
With that, and actually talking about your team, I think this probably came from the boss of the whole thing, maybe Mrs. Killer B, but she sent you guys sent me a little thank you note for this, and I'm going to open it up.
Oh, wow. Here we got a reveal right here.
That's right. An unboxing. This. I probably shouldn't show your address or mine. See if I can do this without slicing myself open or anything.
Let's not do that.
Let's see what we got here. Yeah. By the way, everybody's witnessing this. If I cut myself, you're liable.
I'm liable. Oh, no. It's just considered a bee sting, right?
It's just like a bee sting. All right. So we got some paper.
You got some paper. All right.
Look at this. We got a wonderful thank you note, which as would be expected, it's in the frame of the bee there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually read it later, just in case you guys got sloppy and we're like, oh yeah.
And she writes it all.
Yeah.
I always tell her, like, please try not to make me sound like a girl when you're writing. If you sign my name, don't make it.
Right.
Yep.
Here's of course a sticker for Killer Bee. This is awesome. Ooh, look at this. This looks like some really good tea. Is this Killer Tea?
Killer Tea.
Yeah, and then of course the creme de la creme, some Killer Bee honey.
Yes.
Oh wow! Oculos said, "Careful, it might be a box full of glitter."
I don't know. Is there anything else in there? Is that it?
Is there? Let's see what else.
I don't know. Is there another jar of honey in there? All right, so you're gonna have to you might have to taste that honey, because I'm gonna have to see. Now you revealed it.
So here's a recipe.
There's
yeah.
So there's that. You have to taste that honey, because it should have been hot honey for you.
Okay, well,
but if it's not hot honey, then I'm gonna have to tell her, I saw your package. He opened it live. The hot honey was missing. So
thousands of people watching.
Thousands of people. You let down everybody. Hopefully it's
this is wonderful, and it's stuff like this that really makes it easy. It's like a verification or a validation of, hey, this is the right partnership. These are the right people to be working with, because again, there's just this dynamic, this energy, this mutual appreciation of talent and empowerment. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, we can't do anything of what we're doing without all of you. I mean, really, it's when we met, over a year ago, we knew that somehow we might work together, but we had no idea. But it's packages like that show people they're valued. And that's actually making the spotlight bigger for them and their life too. It really does. It changes that. And I love that you're talking about the future of coming up with new ways of helping to pay the people that are putting in their time. I mean, there's so many things that we could talk about ways you could do that. Because, I mean.
Well, and not just, pay is a thing, but reward is also a thing.
Yes.
And that's something that I've just started thinking about a little bit more here is, finances are very limited, obviously. But there's other things that might carry more value that we can do for less cost, So the money's a piece, but man, to reward somebody, to deliver value to them, to thank them for stuff. That's what we're really looking for too. Oh, look, by the way, Oculos chimed in here with a very well-known quote from Jason Earls. Like my friend Jason Earls always says, if you ship a box of honey, make sure it's hot.
That's good. Oh man. Well, I love there's some of the ways that we've been brainstorming too, Aaron, about when you have people that host shows and events, a lot of, they're building communities too that love what they're doing. They want to support them. We started a Patreon just thinking people want us, it costs money. We know it costs money to do these things. We ship out headsets to people, and it's that all. I'm like, wow, if I look at all the money we spent over the last year, I'm like, wow, that starts adding up. If we could find people who love what we're doing, maybe we could ask them to support what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And that started happening. And some of the things you could be thinking of with Soapstone too is connecting Patreons and, talking about making that spotlight bigger. I know you guys use Discord, and you guys' Discord server admins are amazing. But if you create a Patreon where they could support different shows and have that, that could be a way where it gives them a private channel to that show host. It could share some love from the audience, and then it's not, more money out of your pocket. Because I know we're just putting money out. We're like, I hope it comes back at some point. I love doing it. I love connecting with the people. Right. I mean, I know that's how you do it too, because of the people you're connecting with and the lives that you're having an impact on. These are real friends that we're making in Horizons, and
absolutely. Yeah. Actually, Kimberly chimes in on that topic. Payment for me is the joy and laughter the kids have while co-hosting Soapstone Junior. Awesome event. Kimberly and Orion Dreams just crush it with that. The feeling I get is payment enough. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yes. That's what, that is one of the most important things. It's you're doing it you don't want anybody doing something to make a buck. It's because
Right.
you know what happens when you don't make money, they're going to fizzle out. They're going to be done. You do it because you love doing it. Like that's the key. And that's what you guys, I see over at Soapstone.
Yeah. Oculos, the focus in 2023 for Meta is retention. Yes, there's been some strong signals there that retention is very, very important. While they work on growing the total visitors, we definitely need to double down on community so they have reason to stay and come back. Yeah,
Yes.
that's well said. And Oculos, of course, is a guy who just has his finger on the pulse of the community and on what's happening. And retention, people come into Horizon Worlds, people come into the Soapstone, people come to Killer Bee Studios, and they check it out. And what you want to have is a compelling enough value proposition that they want to come back and be a part of what's happening. There's so much curiosity about what is this thing called the metaverse that then when people come in and have those first experiences, they want to come back and be involved with it.
Yeah. I think this year we're going to see some amazing things happening in the metaverse and in Horizons. I think all of us that's been in here for the long haul so far. I mean, there's a lot of what they call them OGs. I think I'm still trying to remember all the lingo, right? Right. I'm trying to wrap my mind around all that. But I get in there and I've met people that's been there since the beginning. And I'm like, wow, we've been at it for our team's been at it for about a year now, a little bit over a year. But to see where it's come and to know some of the things that's coming, this is going to be an amazing year. I'm excited to see it and be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, if you look around, you may be the only marketing company that I've seen that has taken an all-in approach to the metaverse. I mean, because you're not just consulting, you're not just executing social media and website strategies and stuff, but you are part of the metaverse. You're part of Horizon Worlds, Killer Bee Studios. You're hosting shows. Mark Miller was just there, and you got an exciting one coming up this week too, right?
Yeah, this Thursday we got the maker of Buzzsprout podcast platform. If you don't know, if you look up, just go to buzzsprout.com. The guy that made Buzzsprout will be our guest this Thursday, and he's coming to see, because that was cool. I was at a podcast conference and he said, tell me what sets your podcast apart. Now, I want everybody to hear this. This podcast conference, the very first person that opened up the keynote ripped apart the metaverse. I mean, ripped it apart. The first person that spoke. And my son was there with me. It was the first conference he'd been to. And I took him and he looked at me. He's like, this is going to be interesting. I was like, just wait and see what happens. But when we met him, he said, what sets your guys' podcast apart? I was like, well, we actually do it all live in the metaverse. And he's like, what? So he's coming to experience, what is this? Because I've told him, like, there's nothing that creates a connection with people on a digital platform like the metaverse. On Horizon Worlds, is like, it's amazing. So, and everybody like Mark Miller, all them, as soon as they get off, they are calling people all the time. I've had 3 meetings with people where they're calling saying, you've got to check out what I just experienced. I had no idea.
Yeah.
It's getting in there.
Yeah. People can't comprehend it. It'd be like listening to the radio and trying to understand TV.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't do it, so watching TV or even connecting on like a live stream like this, it's impossible to comprehend what a sense of presence and total immersion feels like.
No, it's so different. And you know it from like even putting out videos, the videos, it's hard to get people to connect with this because it's the same. It's not the same as being in there, being present. I can tell you there's a group of people that you guys probably know. You've probably seen in Horizons called, I think it's called Meta Creators. I think that's the thing, but they do like
with
short
the letter 8.
Yeah, with the letter 8. Yeah.
Yep.
And they're doing some cool stuff. I just watched a teaser of a video that they actually put in a film together, and they did so good because, like, with being in the broadcasting industry, I've worked with video, audio, all that stuff, and they did a really good job because they got really close up on those shots. And I see the teaser video, I'm like, man, that looks like an animated film that kids and people would watch. And I'm, encouraging them, like, you guys keep doing what you're doing, because imagine those kids that are following you, they can actually step into the world and hang out with those characters. I was like, whole different level of what you can do in here.
That's right. That's right.
So many talented people. So many.
Yeah, it's incredible to see the things that people are doing, and again, it's only going to get better. I know Meta just announced that there's 12 new body styles, and I don't know anybody else that uses the Pro chime in on this, but to me, it feels like somewhere over the last 2 weeks with one of the updates that came through, it feels like they dialed the resolution up with the Pro headset. Like everything just looks a little bit crisper and cleaner, which makes it feel more three-dimensional. It's really slick. Like half the time that I've been in my headset, I've just been looking around going, was it like this before I left?
I was really disappointed yesterday. I had to ship my MetaQuest Pro back. They're replacing it, so that's good. I mean, Meta's done a great job. Like, there are some problems, so they're replacing it. But I'm back on the Quest 2, and man, I don't know if you've put on the Quest 2 after having the Pro on, but you're like, am I like losing my sight? Everything's blurry. I'm like, oh man, this is so much different.
Yeah. Not trying to Quest 2 shame anybody out there.
No. I can tell you this. I don't know if any of you work out on these things, because I've been doing that supernatural thing, which was great with the Quest Pro, but I had to do it yesterday with that Quest 2 on, and I don't know how in the world you guys do it. If anybody in here does it, I'm just saying, like, hey, I'm not worthy, because I'm like, I'm dying in this thing.
Yeah, right. For my Quest 2, I actually have a fan that's on the top that sucks air through.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, my Quest 2 is actually quite baller.
Oh wow!
It's got a little fan on it.
Yeah, it looks like a hot rod or something. You take that to car shows and stuff.
right.
It's like a hood scoot, man. That's pretty cool. I see that.
But of course, like, I mean, this is where it's at.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a game changer for sure. And now the new price, I mean, geez.
Yeah. Well, and I so yeah, I mean, it's where it's at. And when I got the Quest Pro, it didn't feel like that big of a transition going to the Quest Pro. But like you're talking about now, and if I go back to the Quest 2, I'm like, oh, this is very different.
Exactly. Oh, I see. Sensei says he plays golf and football on the Quest 2. I like we just did it. Oh, Kimberly does Supernatural on the Quest 2. It is pretty heavy. Like I've read that some people said they're really working out their neck muscles. So I guess if you see people with jacked up neck muscles, you know what they're doing. But yeah,
and
I think that's the same
Zach
thing.
says boxing with the Quest 2, which he's actually talking about in the ring physical boxing.
Oh, okay,
he just wears his Quest 2 just to level the playing field.
Yeah, so you just
whoever he's boxing against.
That gave me that. See, that just gave me an idea. Like my Quest 2, if we're doing boxing, I should get like some of those stickers. People put on. It looks like I got a black eye or something.
There you go. There you go.
No, that's cool.
Carrie Ann says, I'm waiting for the Quest 3. Love the 2 right now. Yeah, the Quest 3, that's I think they announced that that's coming this year, but it's certainly coming at some point soon. And that, I think, is going to be a game changer headset.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Quest 3 is going to be nice because, the Quest Pro is, if you are going to do it for business, like we got one because of research, but if you're in Horizon doing more virtual stuff, I wouldn't even worry about it. I would go get that Quest 3. It's supposed to be really nice. So what are some of your other big plans that's coming up for the Stopestone? Like, do you have anything else?
So we got a new show that's coming into testing today at 4:00 Eastern. I don't. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
No, actually, I just forgot about it. No, I'm joking. Should put these things on a calendar. No.
Right.
It's Honey Talks, right? So me and Mrs. Killer Bee, and it's just a great way to connect with more people and share. I just want to say we are not marriage counselors. We do not claim to be that. But we've got 21 years of experience and a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and we're we're pretty much an open book. So it's just to kind of connect and share and talk about marriage and relationships and how we can help. You guys are probably going to teach us a lot of stuff too. So
yeah. And that's one of the things that I really love about the programming schedule at the Soapstone. There's comedy shows, there's trivia night, which is a blast. There's improv. There's a lot of these kind of conventional things that you'd expect to see at a quote unquote comedy club. But there's also these other events like the fireside chat where people sit down and like it gets real. And it's just a community of people supporting each other. This a show or an event, an experience that's designed around marriage, like that's not something you usually find on the lineup at the local comedy club.
And there's probably going to be some comedy in there, I'm sure. Maybe Honey Talks might even turn into Honey Yelling. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Well, just as long as it doesn't turn into the birds and the bees.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Keep it G.
Yeah.
Or PG-13 or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But really, just like, so right there, we just laughed for a minute.
Yeah.
And a comedy club is probably the best place to have some of these more serious conversations.
Yeah.
I know there's some pretty heavy shows that are in development right now. And, but because it's at a comedy club, because it's at the Soapstone Comedy Club in virtual reality, it gives permission to laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
It gives permission to not be so dry and serious. Speaking of which, Zach just said he's married to his headset. A couple year relationship, indeed filled with emotions.
Have you had one of the ceremony? Did you do the ceremony at Soapstone for Zach yet? Or
right. Yeah. So Zach, we better not catch you looking at any of those Quest Pros. That's all.
Yeah, you bet. You can. Yeah. Stay loyal.
Yeah. And then Film Sensei says he and his wife have been married for 21 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Throw some confetti for that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And not to one up you, but 28 over here.
28. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I mean, there's not at 9:30. I mean, I get it, man. A lot of people are like, I'm in Hawaii at 9:30. I'm still hanging out by the pool, having fun. And you're like, I'm at 9:30. Like, we stayed up all night yelling at kids. Amazing night.
That's right. That's right.
No,
Anybody in the comments got 28 years beat by any chance? If not, does anybody have 28 years of being single beat? Here's why it's nice to have friends. Renee's a saint to put up with you for 28 years. More than you know, my friend. More than you know. Alma Jean says 32 years.
Wow.
Man, that's great. And Sturminator has been single for exactly 28 years.
Wow.
Wow. Congrats, Alma. That's good.
So
Good.
Aaron, you were talking about how all these different events and show types that's happening at the Soapstone. I've got a question for you to think of, like, to get your thoughts on. Are there comedy clubs in real life doing this? Because here's what I'm looking at. Like, there's things I'm seeing happening in the metaverse, and I'm going, I see a lot of buildings, like for instance, comedy clubs. I don't know. So that's why I'm asking you on this. But a lot of these places close down when they're not open, but they could be using those buildings for other things throughout the day. And as a business, are we modeling something new here too? Like with what's going on at the Soapstone?
So this is gonna surprise some people that are hearing this, but comedy clubs take themselves awfully serious. like I mean, it's like there's a lot of just like there's a lot of image involved with comedy clubs. There's a lot of perception of or jockeying for position and wanting to be real comedy and this. So I mean, like, comedy clubs in general take themselves very, very seriously. It's really difficult as a comedian to get in and be talking to comedy clubs because, again, they're, basically they don't want anybody performing unless they have to go find them. If somebody comes to them to perform, it's there's a lot of proving that happens there. But yeah, so comedy clubs take themselves awfully seriously. And I don't think that they would go off brand, so to speak, and do some of this other stuff,
Gotcha.
So,
yeah.
Fortunately, we don't take ourselves all that seriously. So,
well, I thought it's interesting because like there's a church in Cincinnati that, a lot of churches, like they're open like a couple days a week. Right. And there's a huge church in Cincinnati that every day they keep the whole place open. It's a huge building. They have free Wi-Fi. And what they do is they say, what we're going to do is we're not going to charge anybody. We're just going to have coffee open all day. People can come and work remote. And they don't I went there once during, I was doing a work tour. I was going through Donald Miller's Story Brand conference and stuff. So I'm like, I'm going to do a coffee tour. So that's what I did. And I went there one day and I'm like, man, I'm probably going to go there. And they're probably going to be like, hey, you should come out to the church. You should do this. And I'm like, I don't know. But I went there and they didn't. They opened the door like, hey, welcome. You can get free coffee. I went, sat and worked. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm ever going to go somewhere, I'm going to go check out that place. But they open it throughout the whole week to connect and give something back to the people that they're looking for every day, not specifically what they always offer.
Man, boy, you just touched on something that stirs me. Because what that church did is they did something to do something. They did something to help the people around. And they proved that by not using it as a hot lead.
Yeah.
By not capitalizing on the captive audience and saying, hey, let me tell you about Jesus, or hey, let me tell you about why our church is where you need to be, but to just do something because it's going to be a blessing to the people, regardless of what action they may take afterwards or whatever. Like, I love that. And it's so rare, to tell you the truth.
It really is. And it's amazing because I went there and when I left and my wife was with me and I was like, you know what? I'm not looking for a church to go to, but if I was, that would be the one I would go to right now. Because we were going to a church there. I was like, but if I was going to look, I would go there because these people didn't try to pressure me into come and do anything. I don't know. It's very interesting. And even like you said about the comedy clubs, I look at that with the radio industry. Like I've asked things like, okay, we have radio stations that have all these amazing audio equipment, but most of the stuff isn't even live anymore, right? It's pre-recorded. They record it. They hit the play button when you're listening to the radio. But those studios sit empty all day. Most of the day they sit empty. And I'm like, hey, what happened? Like a lot of these stations, okay, someone's probably going to take this business idea and run with it, which is fine. Just give me some kind of credit or something. Yeah. But I'm like, why don't these stations, like we get caught up in doing things the way we've always done them. And I think that's what's great about the metaverse is it helps us broaden our thoughts and widen those up and say, what else could we do? But with there, I'm like, we have these studios that sit empty, but most of them are located in big city areas. How many people are doing podcasting and they're like trying to find equipment? I was like, open up the studio for podcasters to come record their shows, and you could do so much there too. So it's like, I think could the metaverse start helping us think a little bit differently about what we do in real life in some of these normal instances like the comedy clubs?
Well, and Lolly and I were talking a little bit at the top of this about the different approaches. And I like to see a space and see what people go in and do with it. Whereas she's a more structured person and she wants to come up with a plan and see how people follow it. Again, both very important. Yeah. But the things that we're talking about here, as far as utilizing a studio space for something different, a church opening up their doors, no strings attached, to invite people in to work out of that space. Those are the things that come up from not having a plan. Those are the things that come up from walking into a space and going, what can I do with this? You know, and that, again, for me, I'm so glad that we have some structured, process-oriented people on our team. Otherwise, we'd wobble around in the wilderness all the time. But, but I'm also glad, and it warms my heart when I see people step into a space and say, here's my vision of what I want to do with this. And then I'm like, how can we support you? You know, we're behind you 100%. Let's do it.
And that's brightening the spotlight too. I mean, I think you're going to have more and more people. And I think you're right on there. I'm reading a book right now called More Beautiful Questions. And a lot of it is talking about asking deeper questions and asking, well, why do we always do it this way? Well, what if, like, why don't we do it this way? What if we did this? But there's at different stages, you have to have the right people. Like, so sometimes it's going to be people that's maybe more innovative and not really thinking about the hows, but they're coming up with the ideas. And then you bring in, at different stages, you bring in people that are more structured and say, well, okay, well, how are we going to do this? And then they're kind of helping lay out the plan. And then you got people that's going to say, okay, this is how we're going to do it. So they're following it. It's important every stage to have those people. So everybody is so valuable, so valuable. So I'm probably one of those guys that's more of like innovators and thinking way out. And then I come back and my team's like, what are we going to do? I'm like, this is what we're going to do. I don't know how we're going to do it, but this is what I think we should do. Let's just figure it out. And that's why you see us in the metaverse. I mean, literally, we put on the headset. I poked fun at it before I put the headset on. And then after I put it on, I was like, wait a minute. If we're all about connection, there is nothing out there like the metaverse. So that's why you see us there. The connections are real. And I've not seen anything like that.
Well, and it's been a slow but important mind shift from like number of views to quality of connection. You know, because in the metaverse, there is the ability to connect with people on a more deeper level than you could do with 1,000 videos. Like there's that personal connection, but it's slower. You know, if you're going to have that personal connection, it's a one-on-one thing. You know, it's not going to be the impressive multi-million views. It's going to be one person connecting back up with you 3 months after you first met and saying, wow, you know what? This, and this is what happened from after our conversation. You know,
I agree. It's like, that's the shift that we see that we see happening in marketing for businesses across the board. And a lot of people aren't grabbing it because here's what they say, relationship. They're like, that's going to take too much time. It's going to take too much effort. I'm like, but that's a relationship. But that relationship will be more valuable than any dollar you spend on an ad that you stick out there. I mean, these are all tools, but nothing beats relationship. Like that connection there will take you so much further.
And let's see, Matthew Drake. I'm sure the timing of this was just right now because he just says that is so amazing, you know. And this too, I'm sure the timing on this was right now too because Carl says we gingers are very difficult to kidnap. You know? and Rob says welcome back. So all
it's all timed out perfectly right there.
That's right.
Oh, that's great.
Oh man,
that's great. I've enjoyed being on here, Aaron. This is great. I love everybody's comments. What? That one must be for that was just on time too.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This has been good, man. It's always good to connect with you. And again, I'm so excited about what's coming up for us working together and what that's going to mean for the people in the Soapstone. The role that we've seen the people in the Soapstone take with jump starting social media stuff and chiming in and commenting, it's awesome. And it's just the beginning. You know, I can't wait to see the charts that are going to look like, oh my gosh, there's super cool stuff happening. But at the same time, it's just the beginning. Much like the metaverse, you know, hey, there's super cool stuff happening, but it's just the beginning.
And like you said, like it's just like the metaverse, everything on digital is changing. So like our team's always constantly analyzing, reviewing, and saying, okay, let's not do this. Let's adjust because we see this working. And you guys, I do want to thank everybody that's helped us jumpstart that because I think I put in there, like I was going to explain to people later, it's easier for me just to spit it out right now when we say it's important. Like if you're not following the Soapstones Comedy Club's Facebook page. Please follow it. But also, if you follow it, engage. Like, we're trying to have that conversation. And the reason why, if you're thinking, well, they just want to make sure they're doing a good job. Yeah, okay, yeah, we do want to do that too. But really, it has more to do with Soapstone. You guys, by you guys engaging, what we do, that's called the engagement loop. And I won't talk about this too long because people are gonna be like, what the heck's this? Like this, I don't want you talking about this. This isn't what I hit play for. But I just want you to understand what it does. On these platforms, they reward you for having quality conversations. And that means conversations happening within a conversation. So we call them nested conversations. So what happens is if we do a post, you guys write a comment, we ask you a question back. What that does is when you respond, it triggers an engagement loop. So we have a couple of conversations, but what happens is when Facebook see that happening, then all of your friends that don't even know who Soapstone is, they see that conversation happening in an organic way, and it piques their curiosity. Like, well, what is the Soapstone? Like, my friends are there. It's like a word of mouth referral through the engagement loop. So you guys are helping. You guys are a part of this marketing campaign and strategy as well. So I want you guys to know that. So you guys are helping us win, which is helping Soapstone win. So on social media. So thank you guys so much for that.
Yeah. Well said there. Yep. Of course, if anybody watching wants to reward a company or a small business through social media, the way to do that, like Brian was just saying, is to engage in those nested conversations, to see a comment and to comment back on that and have a little bit of back and forth, for the genuine conversation of it, but also knowing that that for whatever reason in the magical powers of algorithm land, that's considered a sign of people really enjoying the post and the conversation that the post generates. So great way to reward people. So.
Yes. You guys doing a great job. So keep it up. Keep it up.
Yeah. Lolly D, do you want to come out and take us home? Let's see. I'll just add you. Oh, wow. Look at you.
I think she's gonna.
You're muted too.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to scratch some records or something. You're like DJ Lolly D here.
Yeah. Oh well. That's this. We have a weekly technical challenge, but Lolly D, you're looking great, and I do happen to know why you're all pimped out like that, and that's to announce that on Friday, the Well Metaverse show at 11 a.m. in Jason Earls Productions, we're going to have our friend from the Hawaii land. Lolly, type it in the chat, the name of the exact name of the world. I always forget the exact name of it. And it's Blades 808 who's going to be there. You don't know how to type it in? Well, we changed it. All right. Stand by, everybody. Just maybe talk amongst yourself in some nested chats. Anyway, a piece of Hawaii. There it is. Oculus. Yeah. Oculus wins 8 points for the day. A piece of Hawaii with Blades. He's going to be, all right. Now we're on it. Blades 808. Yeah. Good stuff. So, Friday, 11 a.m. Today at 4:00 is the honey. What do we call that?
Honey
like
talks.
I'm just honey talks. There it is.
Talks,
honey talks and bull spit walks. Something like that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Purple Tim's right on time, says piece of Hawaii. Yes, thank you. And then also today we have trivia tonight. That is also always a good time. Tomorrow, Lolly D is hosting Good Morning Soapstone, and she's actually going to let me come in and co-host with her. Yay! Nice. So we're going to have a good time there. All sorts of things going on always in the Soapstone. Stay tuned because we've got great things ahead, and we'll see y'all soon in the Soapstone. Thank you, everybody.
See you guys.